I got to get about the Cavs here because I'm angry about something.
Yes.
Can we get to this?
Are you angry or are you raging bull?
I am raging. I don't know if I'm raging or I'm seeing red. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but
Depends
I'm
how the branding goes.
Okay. Now, at first, I was angry that the Cavs didn't trade because I've been screaming for months about wanting to see the Cavs trade for Dejounte Murray. And by the way, all the supposed geniuses about the Cavs, nobody ever said to me, well, they don't have the draft picks, they don't have the draft picks, they don't have the draft picks. Now, yesterday I complained about it. And first of all, the Hawks got nothing in this. I mean, the Spurs get nothing in this deal. Now, the losers out there are going to say, well, they got 3 draft picks, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a crap. Draft picks are for losers. Trophies are for winners. It's very simple. I don't care about draft picks if you get obsessed about draft picks. Now, in the end, the Cavs couldn't trade their 23 pick because of the stupid Karis LeVert deal. Now, to be fair, I like the Karis LeVert deal, so I'll admit.
Stupid.
You're talking in circles, Bull.
But Dejounte Murray is 70 million times better than Karis LeVert. And my buddy Chris Fedor saying to me yesterday, well, he's not a great fit with this team. I don't know. Do you agree with that?
No, I disagree. I think he's a great fit.
So you're saying Chris is wrong?
I'm just saying we disagree.
Kill Chris. Kill him.
I just think
Can you say publicly right now that you hate Chris's guts?
I'm in a fantasy baseball league with him. I can't say that.
Dejounte Murray almost averaged a triple-double last year. Somebody said, well, but he's an inefficient shooter. He almost averaged a triple-double, and he led the league in steals. Inefficient shooter. His team sucked. Sucked. Okay?
Well,
Colin Sexton's a great efficient shooter.
Maybe that's
These
why
guys were complaining you had to give up too much. They gave up nothing. They gave up 3 draft picks. But okay, all right, so they couldn't make a trade. But here's what I'm really angry about. Not even about that. That Murray made another team in the East better than the Cavs, potentially.
Yeah, that stinks.
But here's what I'm mad about. And this is a chronic problem with my fellow Clevelanders. And yes, I'm a Clevelander. I've admitted this. I am a mutt. I'm a half New Yorker, half Clevelander.
You ain't got to apologize.
I'm not saying, but Cleveland is in my blood now. Okay, I've been here long enough. All right? And let me talk to you, my fellow Clevelanders. And most of you are Baker Bros also. This loser mentality. There's a loser mentality from a percentage of the fan base. The Baker Bros have a loser mentality. Because the loser mentality says, well, we're pretty good. I don't want to mess with it. I have morons on Twitter yesterday saying, I don't want to trade for Dejounte Murray. We don't need him. You don't need him? He's an all-star. What kind of idiot says they don't need an all-star? See, I was one of those idiots last year. I said the stupidest thing ever on the radio. I said I don't want LeBron James on this team. And then a week later I said, what the you know what
Nice
is
save.
wrong with you?
Nice save.
Who the hell wouldn't want LeBron? I don't want LeBron. I want to win a championship.
Well, who the hell would say it? You said it.
I know that. I was an idiot.
Are you yelling at you right now?
Yes.
Okay.
But now,
I just
every
love
year.
that Baker is catching strays on a rant about the Cavs. Cavs. No,
Because
Baker Bros were in the crosshairs.
Here's why the Baker Bros were in the crosshairs. Because they
Hedges
had
is
this.
next.
Well, he won a playoff game, so we shouldn't replace him because Brian Hoyer and Brandon Whedon never won playoff games. Oh, yeah? Who gives a rat's ass? Let me tell you something. You always try to get better. Always. Don't tell me the Cavs don't need to trade for an all-star. What are you, stupid? Of course they need another all-star. They haven't won a freaking playoff game without LeBron in 5,000 years. What are you talking about? We don't need another player. I'm spitting all over the place.
I'm right near you.
Fans do this with the Guardians.
His wrists are wet.
I remember.
I'm wet.
There's a splash
I
zone.
remember in 2017.
Right
in 2017, I was banging the table for the Indians at the time to make some trade. I don't even remember what the trade was at the time. And I got a million tweets. Don't mess with it. They're winning a million games. They have great chemistry. Yeah, because if one good player gets added to the team, it's going to F up the whole chemistry. Are you stupid? The Cavs are a good basketball team. They're not a championship team. They need you in the NBA. You say, well, they got 3 all-star caliber players. They do, but at the moment, and maybe Mobley will turn into one. I don't know what you think, Jason. They don't have the super elites, right, Jay? If that's your top 3 quarterbacks, you call them super elites, right? The Cavs don't have a LeBron James. They don't have a Kevin Durant. They have 3 awesome players.
You think Mobley can become one?
Mobley, I don't think.
Yes.
I do too.
He's gonna become that good?
Wait, which Mobley? Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Continue. So you always, this idea that we should stand pat because we're good is the stupidest thing ever. Even the best, the Dodgers have been one of the best franchises in baseball. What do they do this offseason? They signed Freddie Freeman, the MVP of the World Series.
That just cost them money.
Did they just right? So what?
Well, it's easy.
Who gives a crap? I don't care if it costs money. I don't care if it costs draft picks. I don't care if it costs me my throat not being able to talk for the rest of the freaking day. Stop being babies. Stop being losers. Most of you are not. 80% of you are cool. But the Baker Bros it's tied in. You're the same people that don't want to make trades, don't want to sign free agents, don't want to mess up with the chemistry. If one player added to your team, baseball, football, basketball, is going to screw up the chemistry, then your team sucks and wasn't good enough to begin with.
Is there a defibrillator on the set?
We're going to need one.
I'm just
curious.
I just got to start wearing a parka like I'm in a Gallagher show.
He only inhaled twice during that 5-minute rant. His doctor is calling me right now saying, Jay, step in.
I know.
Step in now.
His wife's texting all
I've got to pee right now, too, for crying out loud.
Bull.
Can somebody get me a bucket?
Bull, some of what you said made sense.
All of it.
A lot of what you said contradicted the part that made sense.
What? What contradicted?
Well, what's funny to me is our biggest disagreement is that the Browns trade needs to end in an NFL championship, a Super Bowl win.
Or it's a disappointment, yes.
Or I say that's a loser's mentality if you're okay with it not.
I'm not okay with it.
But anything else than that is second best.
Yes.
At worst.
Agreed.
Okay,
Agreed.
so
I just wouldn't say the trade's a disaster. I'm not okay with the Browns not winning the Super Bowl.
Let me ask you this. If the Cavs get Murray, if they were to get Murray and give up all that, because I'm kind of with you, draft picks in the NBA, whatever, they are what they are. You can build a team through free agency if you want to go that route. If they would get Murray, do you think that that's going to win the Cavs the NBA championship? Do you think they're the favorite to win the NBA championship?
No, but I think it would give them a much better chance.
Jason, when teams make these kind of moves, what kind of conversations are going on in the front office about, because I've always wondered, this is a move that would make us better, but it isn't going to put us over the top. Is that conversation happening with the Cavs on this Murray trade?
Oh, yeah.
They can't stand Pat on this team, Jason.
No, so...
Where do you begin?
I have 11 minutes. Not even, because we haven't even got to the Guardians yet.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this as quick as we can.
Okay.
Don't dismiss the currency of the draft picks. And I know you're going to say...
Agreed.
Listen, when Boston traded Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett to Brooklyn, everyone said, oh, my God, what a home run trade for Brooklyn.
They did.
It was a disaster for Brooklyn. I talked to NBA people who said Danny Ainge knocked that out of the park. And they turned that into Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And look where the Celtics are today because of that trade.
Yeah, but you can give the opposite example.
But no, listen. Listen. It's a 2025 and a 2027 unprotected pick. When we were texting last night, I didn't realize those picks were unprotected. Complete unprotection is incredibly dangerous in the NBA. And you could say, okay, well, that's down the road. This Atlanta regime is under immense pressure to win right now. I heard that from a bunch of different people over the last 24 hours. And they stood pat, kind of what Bull was saying. They did stand pat last year. They said, we got Trae Young, we got this young team.
Went backwards.
Let's see where it goes. Backwards. And they took a step back. And now all of a sudden, it is pedal to the metal. To an unprotected pick in 25, an unprotected pick in 27, and basically an unprotected pick in 26 because there's swap rights. That's made by a GM who doesn't think he's going to be here.
Right.
Seriously.
No, it
in
is.
25, 26, and 27.
I want to win now.
Screw it. We got to go right now.
Yeah.
The Cavs feel, right or wrong, and you can disagree with this, and I've said the thing that is so good about where they are right now is their best piece is their youngest piece. It's not like Zion, where he's already coming up on a max, and what do we do with him? Evan Mobley is their number one. He's going to be their number one on a championship type run, and he's coming off his rookie deal. They have. I'm not saying don't ever make a trade like this. I'm saying I don't know if this was the right guy to make it on. I think he makes them better, immensely better.
But it has to be the difference
But you also have to sort of keep your powder dry for the right guy.
But they have to make a move like this at some point, don't they?
And I think that they can. I mean, they got Kevin Love on an expiring. I roll my eyes at the expiring all the time because the idea of trading him for a bad contract and assets back in the day when they were doing that sort of thing, I never thought was very realistic. But they do have a pretty big trade bullet now to fire. The problem is getting people to come to Cleveland. You said you can build through free agency. You can't in Cleveland.
No,
you have to hold people at gunpoint to get them to come here.
Well,
you just do.
Unless you have a LeBron James on your roster and people are willing to come.
Really quick point about how important these draft picks can be. Who are our two best players? Two of our three best players anyways.
Yes, absolutely.
We drafted them both.
Yeah.
Who just won the NBA title? Where did they get their best players at?
You're absolutely
Got them all
right.
through the draft. If you actually draft correctly, it's an
Agreed. But my point is if you're trying to win and if you're a contender, you draft draft picks in the bottom 10, it's not likely to
Correct.
be a key player.
But
But it better be the.
But if you have a disastrous
And
season,
the
it could
Spurs-
crush
and
you.
3,
I
4,
guess
5
did the
years
right
is a
move.
lifetime. Oh, it was
You
the right
can't
move
be
for the
scared
Spurs.
to trade draft picks is all.
And
I'm
I
saying.
don't think they are.
Jason, was the equivalent of this trade what the Rams did to get Stafford?
That's I hadn't thought of
Stafford,
that.
They went all in, but the reason I bring that up is because when they made the trade, everybody said, "Wow, they're in to win it now. This is it,
right.
and if they don't, it's going to be a disaster." But now they're playing with house money.
They won.
They won. Now they can try to win
Right.
2 or 3
That's
or
true.
become dynastic.
And I've actually used the Rams in the Master Baker debate of
Master, I'm sorry.
hard K.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
That
The closed caption's going to have a field day.
Hello.
that the Rams had a guy take them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they said, he's not good enough. We have to do better. And they went all in on Matthew Stafford, and it worked. It paid off, and they won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Are you willing to say Dejounte Murray is the piece that is going to win us a championship?
I wasn't.
If you're willing to say that, make this deal. But if you're not willing to say that, you have to sort of keep your powder dry for when that time comes.
And you set your if you don't, you set your franchise back years.
Well, I think it all hinges
Yes.
on the fact when they say Mobley is a super piece, a super max dude, he has to be Durant. He has to be LeBron. He
Yeah.
has to be Giannis.
Well,
If he
I
is,
mean,
they can win a
if
championship.
he is,
Yes.
they can win.
Now you're
That's
talking greatest of all time. I'm not going to put a rookie into that. But I do think Evan Mobley can be a number one on a championship team. He can be the pillar of a championship organization. Darius is a great
and the
number
Cavs
two.
think that too.
And the Cavs, I think they think that too. And Jarrett could be a number. Like they have, I've said this for months. They have organically built a big three, and that is almost impossible to do. Golden State did it. San Antonio did it. Oklahoma City did it, and the owner was too cheap to keep it.
And they did it through.
the draft.
Trade. Jared Allen was a trade.
But
Jared
that
Allen
was a minor
but,
trade.
But
It was a,
Mobley is the big piece to this
Agreed,
thing.
but those were top five
and
picks.
When you look at what the Warriors have done, where they
Right.
got Draymond,
But I will
there is
also-
value in these picks.
There is, but I will also argue that you can find value in the NBA now, much different places than you could 10 to 15 years ago. Everyone wanted a top 5 pick. Look what Miami did. Look what Toronto has done. They're finding undrafted guys and they're developing them.
Yeah.
It is possible to do that.
Last thing, real quick, though. You guys keep bringing up these other teams. Those teams were starting over and building. The Cavs are past the starting over point. And one other bonus on the big three is not only are they really good, but they're also really likable, which is a nice bonus.
They
Doesn't
are.
matter about
It
winning,
is, but Bull, to your
Yeah.
point, they're on the front edge of building.
I have
they're
a-
not on. This window is just now
It's
opening.
just opening.
Right,
I
but they're
agree.
not at the starting over
I
spot.
love the way you put it.
Yeah.
Keep your powder dry.
Yeah.
There is going to be a deal that makes sense. Make it when it makes sense.